The Frontline starts now.
And we welcome you to another episode of the Frontline podcast. I'm Courtney Kenny. This time I'm pleased to be joined by two guys from south of the border. We have Ryan Saginaw and Eric Whitelaw. And we kind of joked about this before we started, but Eric, I just want to start because my color analyst wanted to call you White Claw.
Yeah.
You told me people call you the Claw. That's a pretty badass nickname.
That's the nickname at home, the Claw. So,
how did that start? Just because of the last name?
yeah, so they were saying White Claw, and then one of my buddies was like, the Claw, like, let's get the Claw over here. So then it kind of stuck, and it's been that for a while now.
That's a pretty badass nickname. Ryan, do you have any good nicknames?
Just Sags.
Just Sags?
Pretty straightforward.
No one calls you Spirit?
No. I mean, I get that with like the OHL and everything, but no. Just Sags.
I've used it quite a bit on the broadcast.
Oh, really?
Like, he shows a lot of spirit out there.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
It's right there for the taking. It's really easy.
Yeah.
So let's start. We'll start with the more serious stuff before we end up devolving like every single one of these podcasts do. Gentlemen, you guys start the season elsewhere, and then you come up here just after Christmas time. Eric, we'll start with you. What brought you north of the border to play in Powassan?
Oh, I started the season in the CCHL, and it's a good league, and I came home. Things didn't work out there, and my agent knows Pete from the Chowder Cup tournament that he does every year, so he called him, and then I came here. So
it was it an easy decision kind of thing, or?
Yeah, I'd say it was an easy decision. I was kind of sitting at home for a little while and was itching to get back out on the ice, so it was good to fly out here, and Pete picked me up in Toronto.
Last year, I had the fortune of going on a road trip with the Renfrew Wolves.
Yep.
Renfrew to Pembroke, which is only like 45 minutes, and all the guys on the bus were talking to me. And weirdly enough, a guy who just left the team before you guys started, Nathan Pelche, sat right behind me.
Oh yeah.
And they were like going on about, our longest road trip is 2.5 hours, to Hawkesbury from Renfrew.
Yep.
What's it been like now, where your longest road trip's like 8 hours up to Hearst?
Yeah. Well, the first weekend I got here, me and Sax got here the same weekend. So the first weekend we got here, we drove all the way to Hearst, and it was 4-hour bus ride, stayed a night, played a game, a 4-hour bus ride, played a game, 4-hour bus ride back home. So it was definitely something. But
it's a little eye-opening, eh?
Yeah.
Ryan, yourself, how did you end up finding your way to Powassan?
This year I started in the NCDC, and like he kind of said, just things weren't really working out how I planned them to. And I had actually talked to Pete over last summer. Since I knew Dylan and Ryan Patrick, so I had already knew who Pete was, and I just kind of talked to my advisor about it, and we just made the decision to come up here, and I've been really happy with it so far.
What kind of reviews did you get from Dylan and Ryan?
They loved it. They said it's different. Obviously coming from Pittsburgh, it's a pretty big town, so it's like different. The funniest thing he told me is like there won't be a Chick-fil-A right down the street, but no, they said it's good. They had nothing but good things to say about it. So.
Well, they're probably two of the most beloved Voodoos players over the past couple of years, so I think you're in good
guys.
company.
They're great guys.
We differ on opinion on that when it comes to the podcast.
What?
But they know it's all love. They know it's all love.
Yeah.
Eric, you yourself, you were saying from Boston and stuff. What's somebody who's never been to Boston, can you kind of give me a review of what Boston's like?
It's the best sports city in the world.
Yeah. Are you through and through like every sport, Boston?
Every single sport. Yeah.
So like Patriots, Bruins, Red Sox.
Yeah, all of them. Celtics. The Celtics won it this year, so it was a huge parade, and the city went crazy afterwards. So
yeah, for a little while there, you guys were kind of like the city of champions.
Yeah. I think the longest time we didn't have a championship, we just broke it. I think it was maybe 4 years, something like that. So
must be nice.
Oh, it's
really
a lot of celebrations.
So have you ever been to a game at Fenway?
Yeah, all the time. I go to most of the Red Sox games.
I'm obviously not a big Red Sox fan because I'm a Jays fan, like Canada.
Yeah,
right? I'm a Jays fan. Mm-hmm. But Fenway Park's probably, I've never been, but Fenway Park's probably my favorite ballpark of all time.
You have to go see it.
Yeah.
Have
you been?
I've seen a game this year. It's pretty awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Like, is it, like, what makes it so, like, watching it on TV, I assume, is very different than being in person. What makes it so awesome?
Just the fans, like, the Boston fans, like, I'd argue we'd have some of the best fans in the world. Like, they're just so into the game, and, they just love it. Like, we're so loud and rowdy, and everyone's just coming together to watch their team, and it's an awesome experience.
What about for you, Ryan?
I'd say just, the history behind it. It's one of the oldest ballparks in the league. It's just pretty cool to know, all the great players that played there and just kind of the history behind the stadium. The the green wall. I mean, it's unreal to see it in person.
So is it fair to say that you guys, like, what would you guys say is your, if you weren't, like, into hockey, what would be your favorite sport?
Golf, 100%.
Yeah?
Yeah.
To watch football.
Yeah.
I always wanted to play football when I was a kid. My mom never let me.
Oh, hockey's so much safer.
I wanted to be a goalie for a while.
Oh, yeah?
So I played goalie up until I was like 7 years old, and then switched to player. So my mom thought I was better at that. So I'm happy I stuck to playing forward.
That's funny that you say that, because, like, Chris has been bugging me to get the goalie pads on and, like, face off against the Voodoos players just for fun content.
Yeah.
He has it lined up that I'm going to go up against Vitali at some point. So do you have any suggestions on how to attack that?
Flying poke. Flying poke.
Let the player make the first move.
Yeah.
Or you make the first move, you get beat pretty easily as a goalie. So
Yeah. Well, I feel like some guy who scored like 60 goals in the O is going to beat me anyway. So
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's pretty good.
I mean, played in the NHL with some guy named Wayne Gretzky too. So, but back to Boston, just to kind of pick a little bit again. Like, obviously, big Patriots fan. How's your feeling about the Pats right now? You know, they're kind of going through a little bit of a transition.
Yeah. I went to one game this year. We got blown out, but once again, just being at a game in Boston, it's something different. Like, it's special. So I had such a good time with my friends. We go to the game, and it's awesome. So
I'm a big Bills fan. In protest still, but anyways, I've never been to a game. That's the one thing that's like on my bucket
Bills
list.
game?
Like an NFL game in general.
an NFL game in general.
But like, you know, it's a little bit tougher when you're like living up here, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
Buffalo being the closest, so the plan is to go to Buffalo at least once next year before the stadium closes and they got the new stadium.
Yeah.
But what's kind of the do's and don'ts of going to an NFL game?
The do's and don'ts.
Do's and don'ts.
Get there early.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get there.
Definitely get there early. I wouldn't park anywhere. I would suggest taking an Uber in. Get there early. Find people and it's just a great time in general. There's no really. I wouldn't say there's too many don'ts, but it's an awesome time.
What about you, Ryan? Are you like a big Pittsburgh guy through and through? Or I know we talked in off air. He's a Moose fan, which is awesome. But like, are you like Steelers, you know, and all that stuff? Pirates, like.
I'm not big. Like, I'm not huge on NFL. I'm more of a college football guy. But yeah, like I do like the Steelers and the Pirates. I mean, do's and don'ts. I mean, just go have fun. Like, it's what you do. I mean. And then, like, definitely don't drive yourself, though.
No.
Like, either have someone drop you off or just grab an Uber, or it's traffic is just a mess.
Well, I made the mistake one time going to a Jays game. We were running late, and usually we'd subway into downtown Toronto.
Yeah.
Which is, like, the smart thing to do if you're ever driving in Toronto. It's just absolutely bonkers. But we were running out of time, and so I said, screw it, I'm going to drive right down there and we'll find parking. And we didn't get into like the third inning.
Oh, yeah.
It was just silly. I think it's a 9-inning game. We missed a third of it.
Yeah.
Just trying to find parking. But, so are you a college football guy too? I mean, college football is huge in the state.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah. It's awesome.
I probably went to every Boston College football game this year, or at least 85% of them. And it's the same thing as, you know, the Patriots game. Everyone's hyped up to be there. Everyone's having a good time, and you see a lot of people you know there, so it's an awesome time. But no, I'm not a huge college football guy, just Boston College.
Fair enough. Are you Penn State then? Or
Yeah, Penn State. Not Pitt, though.
No.
I hate Pitt. Can't stand Pitt, man.
Well, I got family in Columbus, Ohio, so I'm a Buckeyes guy.
Oh, of course you are.
Wow.
Yeah, of course.
I also like the Blue Jackets. They're my second favorite hockey team. So,
That's all right.
which people are like, really? Somebody likes the Blue Jackets? I'm like, yeah, they're pretty cool. But Buckeyes. Let's go, Nat champions,
all right,
baby.
yeah, all right. All right, my man.
I won't pretend to be like super invested. I only watched the championship game, but I follow from afar through. Like, I lived through it vicariously through my cousins.
Yeah.
But there's a bit of a rivalry there between Penn State and Ohio State. So
Oh yeah, I mean, it's nothing like the Ohio State Michigan though. I mean,
No.
it's more the Penn State Ohio State hate, not really the Ohio State Penn State hate.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, just
That's because you're kind of like little fleas that the Buckeyes just pick off.
Oh
right?
yeah. Literally, they're just a little brother they throw around the house.
Yeah. But that being said, though, Penn State has quite the history, though, like in football especially.
Oh yeah, I mean they were one of the greatest programs in the '90s. Like yeah.
I don't want to get too deep into like what happened 15
Yeah.
years ago or so,
Yeah,
but
probably better we don't. But No, they're starting to turn around, I think. I mean, I watch every game. And,
Yeah.
You know, my parents love them too, so it's a big family thing.
So being from Pittsburgh, I had this conversation with Ryan and Dylan last year, but PNC Park is like on the top of my bucket list of like other ball fields to go to. What's it like?
Oh, it's awesome. Like, I mean, especially you go to like a 7 o'clock game, like just seeing like how the sun comes down, like with the city skyline. I mean, it's so awesome. Like you'll love it. It's I think it's the best ballpark in the MLB. I mean,
Really?
I'm not even saying that just because I'm from Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
but like the Pirates, they suck. Like they're actually horrible. But like you go to the game just for the park. I mean, it's an electric feeling when you're there. I mean, it's pretty sweet.
It's definitely up there on my bucket list for sure. Like I definitely want to get to all of them eventually. I had the chance just before COVID. Was going to go down and spend a couple of weeks in Tampa, and the Jays happened to be there, and then had the plane ticket and everything booked, and then COVID actually happened, and then couldn't go down. But nobody wants to go to Tropicana Field though. Like everyone's like,
it's a dome though.
But I mean, it's like go in and check it out, and But the assistant coach of the battalion, Bill Holder, played for the Tampa Bay Lightning when they played at Tropicana Field.
Oh really?
Which is like wild to think about.
Yeah.
But. Anyways, let's get back on the ice here because we completely got off topic as soon as this happened. Eric, how would you describe your play style?
I'm not the tallest guy, but I'd say I'm a power forward. I have a little bit of skill. I can shoot the puck, but I like to grind too. So it's not just more of a meat and potatoes game and a little bit of skill in there sometimes.
What about you, Ryan? How would you say your game is?
I'm a skill guy. I think I think
just immediately cracks up.
I know it. I mean, no, I like to go out there. I like to, score goals. I like to make plays, and I think that's what describes me best. That's what I do best. I'm not the grindiest of guys, but if I got to get in there and grind or mess somebody up, I can. So.
Yeah, you'll throw the body around.
Yeah.
Have you guys either of you ever been in an actual fight in hockey?
Yeah,
just practice. Just practice.
I have my U16 year. I got called up to play in the Null for Corpus Christi Ice Rays, and that's in the Null South. So it's probably the toughest junior division and like junior league in general, just fighting wise. And I got to get in a good scrap there. So
who won that one?
It was a tie. I definitely
it was the other guy.
I definitely got more shiners than he did on my face after the fight, but he was a 2002 player.
Oh yeah.
And so he was so much older than I was, and he wasn't the biggest guy, but he had some fight to him.
Ryan, you said in practice, is that like a?
No, it was a
full on fight, or
it was a legit fight. Like it was one practice down in New Hampshire. We were just doing it was like a battle practice. Like our coach was pretty mad at us from the weekend we had, and he wanted us just to fight to the death. So the whole practice, the intensity was just ramping up, and then the last drill, just slashing, and then I just dropped the glove to this kid, and then our coach was like, yeah, practice is over. That's what I needed to see. Yes, it was pretty crazy.
That was the one thing where it's no, you hand back in the test empty, and he's like, yes, you passed.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty wild. We talked about it with Heath on the podcast, but I mean, it's got to be. I would imagine it's probably pretty tough to drop the gloves in the Noge because of the cages.
Oh yeah, it's tough.
I don't even think I'd speak on me and Rand's behalf. I wouldn't say we don't know really what the rules are on fighting, and I know there's a lot of them. So with Heath, how he's been fighting a lot, and there's a bunch of rules, and I don't know, they're tough to understand and remember. So
all I know is you're not supposed to in the third, or else you get suspended like he did.
Something like that, and something with the helmets, and
yeah.
They said the one. I think it actually was Keith, but he took off the guy's chin strap, and they said it was a penalty or something.
Yeah, face mask.
Yeah,
it's confusing.
There's a lot of nitpicky rules.
I feel like face masking is such a weird rule at this level because that's all it is face masks.
Really, you can't. It's not like you can grab their face.
I wouldn't really want to beat up my hands though on.
Oh no, that's definitely a lot worse than fighting with a halfie or. Yeah.
No thanks. I'm just gonna keep the gloves on.
Crush your knuckles.
Do one of those things where you grab the jersey and keep whacking them while you have the jersey, right? Yeah. But this is not. I didn't think we'd be talking about fights, but here we are. You guys come up, and you play a couple of games now. Who would you say, out of the teams that you've faced, which I think is pretty much all of them at this point.
Yeah, we just haven't played Espanola.
Okay.
We get them Friday.
Those
so.
are colorful jerseys, let me tell you.
Yeah, they're like neon green.
Yeah.
Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, they're better looking now. Last year they were really bad because like now it's a gradient kind of thing, but last year like the white jerseys, it was just like here's like neon green on white.
Ugh.
And the numbers didn't have like any definition on the shoulders, so you couldn't see like from a calling perspective. You're just like, I don't know who this is. But now that you guys have kind of played, every team in the league, who would you say is the one that you like? I don't want to say like got under your skin the most, but like the one that you're like, we need to beat these guys next time out.
Sudbury for sure.
Thank you.
Sudbury for sure. A lot of those guys, they're good players, but man, I think we could have beat them when we played them, and we were up and we kind of just fell apart and we lost the game. I don't think we should have, but I'd really enjoy beating them.
How about you, Ryan?
I'd say probably Sudbury too, but also Sioux Thunderbirds after we just played them last weekend.
Yeah, that one's fair.
Kind of laid an egg, like it's
Yeah.
like we need like a revenge game, but like Sudbury, I mean, you look at their record, I mean, like, how could you not want to beat them?
Yeah.
Like it's just, that's one of those things is like, they're the best team. Like you want to beat the best to be the best.
I gotta be honest. There's been when I first started hanging out around with the Voodoos, Timmins was like the big rival because it was division play back then. It wasn't like just one division in the league, and it was Powassan and Timmins and then everyone else basically. I don't think I've ever disliked a team more in my life than the Sudbury Cubs, and that's just from like a broadcasting perspective. So like I want you guys to beat them every time out. And then also, not to add fuel to the fire, but the Sioux Thunderbirds are coming to town in like 2 weeks. So,
Oh yeah, they're coming.
yeah. I'm excited for that.
We'll be waiting for them.
All right.
Tell
Mike, we're taking that clip and we're playing that right before the broadcast. No, I'm just kidding. Happy birthday, Mike.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Can we get a round of applause for
Clap
Mike?
it up
It's his
for-
birthday here.
That's my man.
My man.
He's a legend. The guy's like 950 now. He's getting up there to like Yoda age. Now that you kind of also got around the league, there's a few teams that you probably haven't gone on the road yet. I'm just trying to think quickly in my head. I don't think, have you guys played Sudbury on the road yet?
No.
Okay, so out of the teams that you have played on the road, what would you say is your favorite and least favorite place that you've played so far?
I liked Hearst a lot.
Yeah.
I think it was a pretty cool crowd. I liked the rink. It was pretty cool. Like when they scored, like they had fog come out of the moose.
Yeah, that's what I've heard that, but you don't see it on the broadcast, so I've never seen it.
I mean, it was kind of cool. I mean, Hearst had the most energy. I felt like for sure. I would say least favorite though, like what was that? French River.
Yeah.
Just kind of a dead crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
There's like 5 people there.
It was kind of, but like it kind of stink.
What about you, Eric?
I'd probably say Hearst has been my favorite as well. We haven't been on the road too much. I think we've only had two road trips, I think, so far. So
Yeah, the Hearst and Timmins are usually the top two that people pick, and then French River, or when Elliott Lake was in the league where they were playing Massey, it was like the other one that were like the bottom.
Yeah.
That being said, though, every time the French River gets flack, it's like a tradition for me to just say like the food there is really good though at the canteen. Like it's all homemade stuff. It's really good. So if you ever get the chance and after the game, after a big W in French River, my favorite thing about French River though, and also in I guess Sumish, is the curling houses on the ice. Like
okay.
Like the circles, the blue and
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
red. Like that blows my mind. You could just tell it's really a community arena at that point. Like,
Yeah.
When you guys go home, or not go home, but when you guys go like across the border to play Sumish, do the guys kind of give you a tough time? Like, oh, we're going back to America. And all
We give them a tough
Yeah, we
time.
give them a
They're in
tough
our
time.
territory
Yeah.
now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, no, it was definitely a cool feeling to go back though. I mean,
So you guys got Jack Nolan on the team, and I think that's pretty much it when it comes to the Americans this year. Do you guys is it like the 3 of you against everyone else on the team?
Sometimes you're gonna be,
yeah.
you
yeah.
get into Canadian and USA arguments, and it's 3 versus the rest of the team.
I guess right now with the Four Nations face-off is going to be a lot of chirping back and forth, probably, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
probably.
say so. Yeah.
I gotta be honest
Start
though.
getting fired up.
Yeah, I gotta be honest though, and this is totally gonna sewer me. I think you guys are gonna win this.
I don't
I
know,
hope
man.
so.
You guys got McDavid on the second line. Like,
That's true.
pretty bold coaching decision.
That
Bold
is true.
coaching decision.
I don't have a problem with the firepower on Canada. Is keeping the puck out of the net. Like
That's good. Yeah. that's true.
Binghamton, Aiden Hill, like they're good goalies, but they're not the best Canadian goalies in the league. Like Logan Thompson, I was going through it today. I was like, Logan Thompson's second in the league, and then you guys got Hellebuck in net, so it's just like,
just brick wall after brick wall.
If I'm not wrong, I think Brad Marchand, he didn't get a letter, or he didn't get the captaincy in the for Team Canada this year.
No.
Big Boston guy, you know.
Sid the Kid, man.
He's just going to go around and lick everyone's face. So.
Yeah. Bite ears and stuff like that.
You got 2 Leafs fans on here with you.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah, okay. Although he does have bragging rights, to be fair, against us.
He
like,
does.
the Leafs suck against
kind of been
Boston.
spanking us.
Except for this year, I don't know. You guys are tough to make the playoffs in the NHL.
Yeah, Leafs already hoisting the cup. So,
So we kind of touched on it too just before we went on. But how does a kid from Pittsburgh become like a Leafs fan?
I can't even tell you. I used to be a huge Blackhawks fan. I was
not even Penguins. Like.
Well, I like Penguins are like my close second team. Like,
Yeah.
you know, if the Leafs are out, I'm rooting for the Pens. But it's like,
That's the other way around right now.
yeah, really. But I was huge Patrick Kane player.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, he's my favorite player growing up, and I don't know. I was watching one of the Leafs playoff games in the early teens, and like something about the energy and the game just
Man, those were like bad Leafs teams too.
it was like man, I like the Leafs, and then just stuck from there, and like now I'm like the biggest fan ever.
So who's your favorite player on the Leafs?
I've always been a big Mitch Marner guy.
Yeah.
I really like his.
So not even like your countryman Matthews.
I mean, it's tough to say Matthews, but like you say Matthews, you're a bandwagon. You know, that's what everyone says. But no, I like Marner. You know, him being a right-handed shot too. Like he's a really good player, and I like what he does. So
Marner's pretty fun to watch. I wonder what's going to happen with his contract. Who's your favorite Bruin player on the current team?
Pasternak.
Yeah,
He's actually my favorite player in the league. So
oh yeah,
I love the way he plays. He's just so nonchalant out there, and he looks so relaxed. And then all of a sudden, he scores like the sickest goal you've ever seen, or just like the most relaxed goal, and you're just like, wow, man, he's so good.
Yeah, the winner against the Leafs last year was literally out of nowhere.
Sick.
It was literally. I mean, they should have never played. They should have put a broken Joseph Wollin over Varlamov last year. But
yeah, literally.
I remember that was the other one thing too at the time that really pissed me off was Marner was just kind of lackadaisy on that play, dude. Just like whatever.
That was a sick goal. It like bounced off the boards, and he picked it up, and I remember, like, I think it was the game before, Montgomery called him out and said, Pasternak needs to step up, and then he wins it for
He
the
goes
team,
and does it.
Yep.
One of the guys on the Bruins, though, currently Justin Brazeau played here and was an unbelievable player for the North Bay Battalion.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, he's from New Liskeard, so on the way up north, like about an hour and a half north. He scored 60-plus goals here, actually.
Really?
Like, he was like 13th round draft pick in the OHL, so he was like out of nowhere just boom.
Yeah.
And then the Leafs, or the Marlies signed him, and I was super hyped about that. And then they let him go, and Boston picks him up, and now he's, kind of a legend in Boston. But I was working up north in New Liskeard at the time last year during the playoffs, and it was like when the series was like 3-1. And I was at a restaurant for dinner, and they had the game on, obviously, because they're rooting for the hometown boy and all this stuff. I'm like, as a guy, like, I have pictures of me, like, interviewing Brazeau when he played for the Battalion here, where he just dwarfs me. And I'm like, this guy who's been so good to me is going to break my heart.
Yeah.
And that's he didn't do it that game, but that's exactly what he did in Game 7 when he, like, he did score, I think, the one goal or whatever. Yeah, Brazeau is a legend around here. I think Chris somewhere has a game-worn Brazeau jersey in here, so... it might be in the other room, but yeah. So 55 looks weird on him though because he wore 17 here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, when it comes to that's our little claim to the Bruins. It's the only player I can root for. Do you have like a favorite player all time, that like Bruin player?
My mom's a huge Ray Bourque fan, so
I mean that's fair. He's pretty classy.
So I actually have a Stanley Cup jersey from way back in the day, signed by Ray Bourque. So I wear that to every Bruins game. And then I have Phil Esposito and Ray Bourque, and it's at Phil Esposito when he retired his number, that ceremony, and Ray Bourque shaking Phil Esposito's hand, and it's signed by both of them on each side. Cool. So, and then I also have 4 Ray Bourque cards and his name spelt wrong on all 4 of them. So those are worth some money as well. So I'd probably say Ray Bourque, and then Pasternak's right under him.
I was also a classy ceremony too when he took the jersey off and he had like his new number on underneath it. Weird, just because of hockey cards. The battalion president Adam Dennis, when he was in Buffalo's system, he got his first hockey card and it's not him on it.
Really?
Like it's just his face on the back, like the picture part of it, but the goalie on the front of it's not him.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm like, And he didn't have like a very long career where he would have had like cards like at the NHL level.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you had one shot and they put someone else on, like, on the front.
That's funny.
Who would be your favorite Leaf of all time outside of the current team? I mean, you could say Marner too, I guess, but
I mean, I really liked when like Kadri played for the Leafs, and I think he's part of the reason I'm a Leafs fan. Like he was just so sick. Like just
not against the Bruins in the playoffs. So
pulls the nastiest moves though. Like he's probably my favorite, but all-time favorite player's got to be Jaromir Jagr though.
Yeah.
Being from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's fair.
Still playing.
Guy's such a beauty.
Yeah, he's a legend.
He's still playing to this day.
So last year when Dylan and Ryan were on, I talked about like, you know, kids growing up in Pittsburgh, if they were talking about how if you wore 87 or 71, you just get lit up basically because that's just silly to do. Would you put like 66 and 68 in there as well? Yeah,
I mean, you don't see it a lot in general. Like even seeing like 99, 87, 66, like numbers like that, you don't really see it. But especially, it's like a big Pittsburgh thing. You don't wear those numbers, or you're getting chirped all day long.
For sure.
It's just like a scum thing to do.
What about you, Eric? Is there like a number that's like off limits that you're like, no, you can't wear that number?
I don't like seeing the number 4 just because of Bobby Orr. Like, especially when you're a defenseman, you're wearing number 4. Like, you probably get chirped for that. I used to, growing up, I was number 88. Well, I was number 88 for the past 3 years, and I got chirped a lot. Like, oh, you think you're Patty Kane, buddy? Like, even though I wore it for Pasternak, so I thought it was kind of funny. But yeah, just those 2 numbers. You do realize the captain of your team is a defenseman who wears 4, right? Yeah, he's a big Bobby Orr guy.
Have you chirped him about that?
No. It's more of just like in Boston.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah, just growing up when kids were wearing number 4.
Yeah. You think you're all that, kind of thing.
Yeah. Nice shot, Bobby Orr.
Yeah, you think you're one of the top 3 players of all time. So that kind of leads me to my next question. Then I know the Voodoos only have like a limited set of numbers. You know, it's just the teens and 20s and all that stuff. And obviously, when you guys come into the team at this point, the numbers are kind of mostly picked. So for you guys, was 19 and 14 your preferred choices, or was that just kind of the best of what was left?
I mean, I've worn 18 I wore like all of high school and then AAA. And then I wore 17 in the NCDC. So like I wanted to get 18 again, but Pete said he had 19, and I was like, I'll just take 19. I was between that and 23 for Dylan, but I went with 19.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
Welcome to the Clubhouse by Gateway Golf. Located on Oak Street East in North Bay, with over 200 plus real-time courses, simulator arcade games, and delicious eats, the Clubhouse is North Bay's newest social hangout. You can book times now at gatewaygolf.ca or come visit at 245 Oak Street East in North Bay, Ontario. The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalie resiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
The Frontline podcast is broadcasted from inside the 360 Goaltending Icebox in North Bay, Ontario. 360 Goaltending, redefining Canadian goalie culture.
Why is Northern Honda servicing more cars of all makes and models? Let's count the ways. 1. Our state-of-the-art facility has award-winning technicians. 2. Northern Honda has the lowest tire price guarantee, no matter what you drive. 3. The lowest synthetic oil change guarantee, and every 5th oil change is free for all makes and models. Plus, new Honda buyers get brake pads for life. See the service difference at Northern Honda, 1250 Seymour beside Home Depot.
Kids Sport North Bay is an organization that helps kids who otherwise couldn't get in the game with grants of up to $500. You can donate or find out more at www.kidsportcanada.ca.
All right. What about you, Eric?
Well, growing up, I always wore number 14. Okay. So from when I was 5 years old to 14, and then I switched to 88. I was 88 for a while because I had a number 14 on my team who was previously signed before I was, so he got that number. And coming here, I think Pete just assigned me number 14. So I was kind of like, wow, like that's my lucky number. So it's gonna be a good rest of the year.
What's lucky about 14 for you?
Just like as a kid, when I was super young, I was playing for the Bridgewater Bandits. That was the Boston Bandits.
What a badass name.
It was the Boston Bandits back then, but they changed their name. But when I would pick a jersey for tryouts and stuff like that, it would always be number 14. Like on the occasion, I would get a number 7 or something like that. But so it's kind of just like this number like wants me to pick it. So I stuck with that for a while and found me again. So
kept going with it.
Yeah.
You know, Patty's like big into 18, eh?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
He was very clear about that when he was on the podcast last year. He was like, I can't ask like Chase Thompson. He's a 3-year NOJHL vet who's wearing 18. And then when he first came here, they gave him 24. They traded the guy who was wearing 18. They gave it to Chase Thompson right away. And he's like, what?
Well, he just kind of got sewered, man.
Yeah, but then 24, I mean, to me, he's 24 because that's all I know him as. But
yeah.
Hey, he was talking about like, I have like 18 and chains and everything. Like 18 this, 18 that. I'm like, dude, go away.
That's funny. A kid on my team last year got a tattoo. It says big right here. It says "My Way" with the number 9. I just think it's funny now because he's playing in the NAW and he's not number 9 anymore. So it'll be there forever.
It's kind of tough to like keep a number for your entire life. I would imagine. Like,
it's hard.
Like that's like something you probably shouldn't get tattooed on you as your number unless you're like a legend in the NHL. Like Crosby can get 87 tattooed on him. Right? Like, you know, like, but like if you're just like moving from team to team, playing whatever, getting a number, like it's like I would say getting a number and getting like your girlfriend's name tattooed on you are like the two worst things to get tattooed.
Probably,
yeah, probably. It's good.
What do you guys think would be worse, getting a girl's name tattooed on you or a number?
Definitely the girl, yeah. Definitely the girl. You get a new girl after you break up with the old one, and she just sees your ex-girlfriend's name there, so that's probably not what you want to do.
No, that's probably a good call.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing. I mean, yeah, it's perfectly said.
Are you guys, I don't know, we've never really broached the subject with anyone, but are you guys like, would you guys get tattoos, or are you guys like, no tattoos in my entire life?
I'm not a big tats guy.
No.
So I don't think I ever would. I mean, maybe something small, but like if I got a tattoo, it'd have to be something really like meaningful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I'm not a big tats guy.
That's fair.
I actually have a tattoo, so I have my mom's birthday right here in Roman numerals. So
that's cool.
I got that for her, kind of surprised her, and she's not against tattoos. She's not all for it, but it was meaningful, and
yeah.
She didn't really. She reacted just kind of plain. She's like, "Oh wow, like that's great."
Like not even like, "Wow, oh my god, that's amazing." You're just okay.
I was like, "Yeah, okay, no more."
No more. My first tattoo, like I waited and waited and waited. My first tattoo, I have like 5 now, but my first was very meaningful, and my mom hates them.
Yeah.
And so she was like, after I got the first one, she's like, okay, that one makes sense because it's family related. She's like, you can't get any more. And I've progressively gotten more. I haven't in a couple of years, but every time I come home with like one or something, she's like, she can't say anything now, right? Like it's already there. Like, what are you gonna do about it? But she's just like, I could just feel the disapproval. Yeah. One of these days, I'm gonna like wake up and she'll be like, yeah, you're out of the will. So, just is what it is, I guess. So we asked Patty and Dylan this last year. We asked Jack this question this year. But what are some of the biggest things that you would say differ between Canada and America on day-to-day stuff?
No Chipotle is probably a huge one.
No Chipotle, no Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, there's some Chick-fil-A. There's some Chipotles and some Chick-fil-A's, but it's just so much more common in the States. Yeah, there's Chipotle every 5 minutes.
I can't say I've ever eaten at either place.
Oh, you need to try it, man.
You're missing that, it's my man.
Well, I'm going on a trip to North Carolina in April for a wedding, and I feel like I'm just gonna like eat my way through the States.
There's a lot of good spots.
Caleb Dawson actually just tried Chipotle for the first time, I think a week ago. So he loved it. He was like, "This is awesome."
He's like, "It's real food." I'm like, "Yeah, it's good.
Real food,
real fast food. It's good.
Yeah,
it's legit."
So no Chipotle, no Chick-fil-A. What else have we got?
It's freezing here.
Yeah, it is so cold. So much snow.
There wasn't that much last year, to be
Like
fair.
in Pittsburgh, like it snows maybe a couple inches every once in a while, but like here, you're waking up and there's 3 inches of snow every day.
Have you seen the weather report? We're getting like a big storm here tomorrow night.
Yeah,
our practice.
I heard that at dinner, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, when's the snow gonna stop coming in?"
Yeah,
I can't wait to go back after the season, have a nice vacation to Florida or something.
Yeah, need some sun.
Get in the sun, man. Get a tan.
To be fair, like summertime in North Bay is very like the weather here is very tropical in the summer. Like it's 30 degrees Celsius plus in the summer. So like that's the one misconception people will be like, "Oh, it's so cold here year round." It's like, no, our summers are pretty hot.
Yeah.
The furthest north I've been, I was there in August, and it was Moosonee, which is like probably 16 hours north of here. Well, that's probably too much, but I would say probably 12 hours north of here. You have to go by train. That's the only way you can get in there. It was August. You could still feel the chill in the air.
Really?
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
Because you're above the Arctic Circle at that point.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
but, okay, so freezing, what else have we got?
Everything's different, like Celsius.
Yeah.
Like what liters?
Yeah.
Our
Kilometers.
gas is a lot more expensive.
It's not that much different though.
No?
No, like I mean I've noticed it since like I have a car here. It's not that much different.
No way.
No, it's around 60 or so bucks to fill a tank.
Oh, okay.
It's not bad.
Because that was the one thing that was like, look, like I'm driving, right? So like I'm like, oh, I can't wait till the gas is a little bit cheaper. But
Yeah.
now you've just ruined it for me. Thank you.
I mean, it's not. I mean, it might be a little bit cheaper in the States, but I mean, it's
Yeah.
like not that bad.
I'm going right by your hometown actually on the drive, according to the my Apple Maps.
Yeah,
We're
what? Probably down through Buffalo and then down PA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's turn south at Fort Erie, so
Yeah.
or Erie, not Fort Erie. So the one thing that they were talking about like last year was that Ryan kept going on about how like we call docks, and they're actually like marinas if it's a singular dock. I'm like, that just sounds silly.
Oh. I don't really have to say on that.
Yeah. No. I mean,
It doesn't bother me.
no.
Either one
Not
is
really.
fine with me. Dock, marina.
Dock, marina, boat
But
yard.
to me, like a marina is like a collection of docks. A dock is just one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, that does make sense.
That makes sense.
Okay, well, message him after this and tell him it's a dock.
Yeah.
Because like I had parents coming up to me last year and was like, it's a dock. Like they were like getting like they were arguing about it like amongst themselves. And
That's
like,
funny.
I'm like, oh, what you did, Patty? You did
Yeah.
this.
Dude,
I will say, I really do like the Canadian cash and like the money exchange rate. It's
Yeah,
just-
I bet you would. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every,
it's so nice.
every time I pay for something here, I feel like it's fake money. Like it's just like I'm not losing the money, and
Yeah.
so I am more prone to spend money here because every time I make a purchase, I'm like, well, it really is cheaper. So it kind of feels like I'm not spending as much money.
Yeah, it used to be the other way around. Like whenever I go down and visit the family, like in Columbus, it was like the stuff was cheaper, and the exchange rate at that point was like we were probably 90 cents to the dollar back then, so it was actually cheaper to buy stuff there. Now, like as I'm like taking money out and turning it into American money right now, like every pay I'll take like a couple hundred, and I took 200 once. It was like, here's 130 bucks back, and I was like, thanks. Like that's great. I love that. And then, like now it's like to 70 cents, and I'm just like, this is like the worst thing. So I'm probably gonna out myself. This is probably a bad thing. But when Trump goes on talking about like Canada becoming like a state, I'm like, honestly, right now, selfishly, money wise, I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm like, I don't know.
The 51st state, yeah.
Yeah.
He's been talking about that.
Yeah, he has been. He loves that.
It'd be a big state.
It would be obviously the biggest state you have. Would we just turn Alaska into part of it? I don't know. Or you keep Alaska? Like, there's so many questions that come along with that.
Yeah.
But that's not for a hockey podcast. Speaking of Donald Trump, though, he was at a big event this weekend, and it's probably the biggest event on the calendar for a lot of Americans, and it's the Super Bowl. What did you guys think of the?
Happy the Eagles won. I
Yeah.
think it's time for a new winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the underdog come in and win, so.
Yeah.
But they didn't just come in and win. They
they
wiped the floor with the
ran
Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched the game with with an Eagles fan. He was like, we were at his place for the party, and Brad, who does our NFL show that we have, and I asked him. We were sitting around a fire before the game. I said, "How are you feeling, man?" He's like, "I'm really nervous right now. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna like have a good time." I'm like, "So what happens if the Chiefs score?" He's like, "I'm just gonna come out and stand by the fire."
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, and then he was like having the time of his life.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
like
I bet he
the best
was.
night
24-0
ever.
at half too. He
Yeah.
was feeling himself.
Yeah, he was like. We kept having to pull him back, be like, "Okay, you can celebrate after the third quarter."
Yeah.
there's still a lot of football left, right? Like,
Well, that's like Owen. Like he said, like he's the biggest Eagles fan ever, And like, I mean, you would never think that, but he's
he's totally a bandwagon hopper.
Yeah, probably, but no, he was the happiest I've ever seen him when they won. Like he was so locked in on watching the game.
I don't know. Have you seen him like win like big when he's gambling?
Oh yeah,
he's probably happier when he does that.
I mean, it was actually pretty shocking. He was pretty fired up.
Yeah. I don't think
the
he can't be an Eagles fan. There's no way.
He was gambling on the Eagles too.
Oh, okay. So that was the thing is I don't do sports gambling because it's like I could easily just waste an entire paycheck on that.
Oh yeah.
So I just
so
avoid
easy.
it like the plague.
It's so easy to blow money on stuff. Like
It
that.
is. So when we were at this party, the whole group of us decided to try a parlay. So I just gave like $5 or whatever. The thing I picked was Travis Kelce, 60+ yards.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah.
It's totally my fault.
He kind of had a dud season this year.
Yeah. Taylor's leaving him now.
Yeah. Good. Good.
But like, as a guy from Pittsburgh, is there not rivalry with Philadelphia? Like,
I think it's more of like in the hockey.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like the Steelers and Eagles aren't in the same division, so like they don't play each other a lot.
yeah.
But yeah, definitely in the hockey, like Penn's Flyers, it's insane. Like they do the Winter Classics and all that. Like
Yeah.
I got the chance to go to one of those games. It was at Heinz Field, and it was an insane sporting event. Like just the fans and like just the game is so fired up. Like people fighting everywhere. Like it was actually insane. But no, like the sports is one thing, but I mean Pittsburgh. I don't think there's that big of a rivalry though.
No.
It's not like Philly's better than Pittsburgh or whatever, but I mean Pittsburgh's better.
There's no rivalry, but here it is. So that kind of adds or brings me to another question, being the fans of the teams that you are when it comes to hockey. Eric, who would be your least favorite NHL team?
My least favorite NHL team, man. I like most of the teams in the NHL. I'd have to say probably the Ottawa Senators.
Really?
Yeah, just not a fan of their jerseys. Don't see them a lot. Don't see a lot of highlights on them.
I love those black jerseys. They're great.
I don't know.
No?
They're. It's not that they're my least favorite. It's just they're probably my least favorite jersey. I don't have a least favorite team, but
Okay, fair enough. I can accept that. What about you, Ryan? Who's your least favorite NHL team?
I'd probably say Boston, honestly. That's
crazy.
Just our Leafs and Boston playoff history recently. It's
Yeah, that's fair.
them or Tampa Bay. I know we've kind of struggled with them too.
Yeah,
so.
but at least we beat them in a round.
Yeah, I mean, at least we got the get back.
actually, I'd like to change my answer.
Oh, that's fair. I know what you're going to say, but that's
No,
fair.
I'm not going to say the Leafs.
Oh, okay.
I'm probably going to say the Panthers because when we had the best season
yeah.
of all time, and
That was rough.
that guy just went bar down and just ended our season. So that
Verhaeghe.
was definitely tough. To see.
Former Leafs prospect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was.
Imagine if we still had him too.
Yeah. They traded like him. Well, the thing that sucked too was up here in North Bay watching him play with Niagara the first year that the battalion were in the league. North Bay had a playoff series against Niagara, and I was like, man, this guy's going to be unbelievable. And then they like traded him that offseason. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing, too, is they had a defenseman who played for Guelph at the time, Matt Finn, who was part of that deal for Michael Grabner, and he was, like, in the finals against North Bay that year, and he was unbelievable. I was like, this guy's, like, the second coming of somebody. I don't know who,
Yeah,
but he's
really.
so good. And then they traded, and he's done nothing. So, but at the time, I was, like, so mad. I was like, come on. This is silly. Okay, so who would be, Eric, who would be your least favorite, across all the sports that you watch, who would be your least favorite team of all time?
My least favorite team of all time. Man,
That's a crazy question.
that's a crazy question. You're gonna have to circle back around. Let's go to Ryan here.
Oh man, all time least favorite sports
Yeah.
team. Ohio State Buckeyes.
Wow.
100%. I'm Ohio
it.
State or Pitt, man.
I'm wearing my Buckeye stuff to the next Voodoos
Yeah,
game. You're going to have
alright.
to deal with it.
I'll have to go with the Yankees.
Yeah?
The Yankees, big rivalry. You know,
Yeah.
we're just better than New York.
I mean,
Better city.
recent history would say so.
Yep,
Yeah.
better city, better fans.
Yeah, Boston doesn't seem as, like, scummy
Yeah,
as New York.
It's not as dirty.
it's a
either.
lot
Yeah.
cleaner. It's
That's
a
what
lot
I mean,
cleaner.
yeah.
It's like very similar to New York, but it's less populated and it's more clean. So
Probably easier to get around.
oh yeah, for sure.
And the traffic ain't no joke in Boston either, though.
Oh no,
No, it's-
you're better off taking the train.
So is it, like, nice for you guys being up here and being like, wow, the park driving in Powassan is
yeah.
pretty easy?
I got a funny story about this. So we went to our first battalion game.
Yeah.
And, like, I was, like, telling all the boys, like, we got to leave early and all this. And, like, we're going to get stuck in traffic. And they're like, there's no traffic in North Bay. Yeah. Like, well, we got to pay for parking? Like, and they're like, no, you don't pay for parking in North Bay. It's like, oh, that's great. Like, it's just kind of cool.
You go to a game in Sudbury, though, you have to pay for parking there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or, like, I've gone to a game in Ottawa to see the 67s play, and it's like $30 for parking. I'm like, this is silly. At least in Sudbury, it's like $5.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world. If I had to pick a least favorite team, though, just because of recent stuff going on with them, I hate the LA Dodgers. Like
The Dodgers, huh?
Yeah.
I actually like the Dodgers.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've seen a game in Dodger Stadium.
I feel like that'd be cool.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah. How many ballparks have you been to?
It's been in Dodger Stadium, PNC Park, Fenway. That might be it.
What about you, Eric?
Just Fenway Park.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know it's like going to be after the season at this point, but like you guys, if you get the chance, should go check out the Rogers Center. Like it gets a bad rap because it's all indoor and turf and everything, but it's quite the experience. Just to the hotels like built into it and everything. And it's quite like if you're in there when the roof like moves, it's pretty cool.
Boy, it gets rocking in there.
Oh yeah,
that clip of Jose Bautista throwing the bat. Might be one of the most electric videos in sports.
So here's a wild story I got for you. The next year in the wild card game when Edwin Encarnacion hit the walk-off bomb against the Orioles, there was a fan earlier in the game that threw a beer can on the field at like one of the Orioles players.
Yeah.
And he's now banned for life from any MLB stadium. He used to be a sports reporter in North Bay. He was a chaperone with me. The first time I ever got to go to the Rogers Center was to play there with the high school ball team. And he was a chaperone with us down there. And he drove us back, and we got pulled over for speeding, and then we ran out of gas coming back into North Bay. It was a wild trip.
Oh, man.
Not to mention other things that happened down there. I had to get stitched up. That was fun. But anyways, this same guy threw a beer can at an Orioles player, and now he's banned from MLB baseball.
It's awesome.
Ken Pagan, poor bugger. Really nice guy, too. Like, so when it happened, when it was like announced that was him, I was like, there's no way.
Maybe he'll watch the pod and get a good laugh out of that.
Yeah, maybe. Probably not. So I got to ask then on the hockey side of things, we talk about your favorite and least favorite places that you've played in the NOJHL so far. Where's been your favorite and least favorite place to play in general so far? Reed DeBox, when he was on here, he like said like Peterborough was like his least favorite arena to play in, like where the Petes play in the OHL, and I'm like, that's really wild that you just like
just dissed on an OHL rink.
Yeah, well, I mean, they got weird corners. If you ever see a video, they're like square almost.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I'm like, that's really wild that you would just like pull Peterborough out. It was like, yeah, that's the one I don't like.
Man,
it's another crazy question, my man.
I'm just here for the crazy question.
Yeah,
this is
played at so many spots.
You mean like least favorite rink?
Rinks are like towns, like places we've been.
Well, you can bring it both ways, I guess.
Okay. I'm gonna bring it. You're going to have to be a Boston guy to understand this one. It's called Hockeytown, USA. It's right above the city, and it's this rink in the corners.
Wait, is the town called Hockeytown?
No.
Okay.
And that's just... No, so the rink is called Hockeytown, USA.
Okay.
It's there's no team that plays out of there, I don't think. It's just mainly men's league. But I've done some men's league games there, and in the corners, it's like... There is no corner, so you can't like the corner's like this, and there's a huge like wooden like ramp that goes up. So if you get hit into the corner, you just get smashed into the ramp, and it's probably the most outdated rink I've ever played in my entire life.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Also pretty bold.
I'll have
of
to
them.
pull up a picture.
Yeah. It's also pretty bold of them to call it Hockeytown, USA. I mean, Detroit calls himself Hockeytown, right? So it's
it's a gritty rink.
Okay, what's your most favorite place that you've played in then?
I've played at the TD Garden before.
Yeah,
that was awesome. I was super young, and we got to skate. It was like a little kid thing. So we got to go on in intermission.
Yeah. So we have like the Timbits players at like battalion games come out.
Yeah.
It was very beginning kind of thing.
Similar to that. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the guys that hangs out with us, Ben Sargent. He's not a Leafs fan. He's a Habs fan, but he got to go and play at the ACC Scotiabank Arena, doing the same thing. And I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
What about you, Ryan? What's your least favorite place you've ever played?
Honestly, the New England Sports Center. It's down in Boston. It's
that's crazy.
I mean, it's not a bad rink, but like we played there. It's like there's a massive showcase going on, and like there's 10 rinks in there, and there's like thousands of people in this rink, and it was just a mess. Like the locker rooms were tiny. Like it was just not a good mix. But favorite place though, I mean, I played at like Penn State's rink is definitely up there for me, and like I played at Michigan State's last year. I'd say probably Michigan State's my favorite.
Yeah.
It was just a cool rink. You know, we played early in the morning though, and it was kind of cool. Like you're the only guys on campus.
That'd be pretty neat.
It was pretty cool.
When all the rinks I've played on are local because I didn't go very far with hockey before I realized I was not very good at hockey. But the cool, like when I played baseball and I got to go to the Rogers Center, that was unbelievable. Like,
I bet. That'd
doing
be
that.
insane.
Like, and I got to pitch off the mound and I'm like, this is unbelievable. I was like, don't mess up. But the thing that's funny about it though, because it's turf, I went to go play the ball on the hop when I was in the outfield and just bounced right over my head. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm running to the fence now. Like, so that was pretty cool, especially when they turned the lights on fully. But that being said, though, guys, really appreciate you guys coming on the podcast this week.
Oh, for sure. Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's been a pretty fun time. So again, that's Ryan Saginaw, Eric Whitelaw. I'm Courtney Kenny, and go Buckeyes.
Yeah.
And happy birthday, Mike.
Yeah.
The Frontline, hosted by Courtney Kenny, the official podcast of the Powassan Voodoos.